Kia ora and welcome to Breathing Space whānau. I'm really thrilled to be joined by a special guest today who's a very dear friend, and I would like to introduce her. Her intention has always been to tell stories for people to find common ground within their differences. She's a Taiwanese-born maker of music, theatre and film. In 2018, she debuted her play Tide Waits for No Man. She created the theme song for children's animation Tales of Nai Nai. She's gearing to release an album with her psych pop band Kita this year, and she's a dear friend and a valued collaborator of Proudly Asian Theatre. We have Nikita Tu-Bryant. Kia ora, friend.
Kia ora, 大家好.
How are you feeling today?
Today is a better day. Yesterday was a especially heavy day with all the horrors going on in America. Today I am feeling a little bit clearer and just trying to figure out how I can use my energy in a way to help the situation or help communicate what's going on.
I want to know, in terms of, again, striking the conversation of what this breathing space is for us right now in retrospect of the lockdown level 4, 3, 2, and the current climate in terms of the pandemic and the crisis that's happening and the flaws that's happening in America and around the world right now. I want to know, who are you when your practice is on pause or when your practice is disrupted?
So I guess the way I see it is in terms of performing live, our practices are on pause. I've spoken to a lot of other artists that have, especially when things were feeling quite dismal during lockdown, that were like, I'm going to change careers, I'm going to go do an apprenticeship, or, you know, I can't play to anyone, so I'm just going to stop. And I think that it was really enlightening, because I think if we work in the creative industry, our practice isn't just when we're performing, right? It's the whole process. And so I don't see it compartmentalized as I can't perform, so, you know, what I do is redundant. I think being creative is living creatively, whether that's gardening, or that's staring out the window, or that's making food, or journaling because you're having a really hard day. I think being able to exist in all of those spaces is living a creative life, not just I'm a musician, or I only perform in theatre, or, you know, like, there's so much involved, so much in the process that is from our life experiences. So everything you experience today, you will probably then, it will become something you make, you know. So I think breathing space is important during lockdown as well as just in general. And I think lockdown was really magnifying that for a lot of people, because you're like, man, I don't need to live life constantly like full throttle. I can find spaces, and we need to find spaces, because how fast we were going was not sustainable. And the classic, like, crash and burn, and people will go, I'm quitting this job because I'm burnt out. Or we could do it in a way that's sustainable and maintainable and just generally a bit more balanced. In saying that, I'm my own worst taskmaster. So during the beginning of lockdown, I worked harder than I ever did. I felt like it was important to tell stories for people that didn't have voices, for the vulnerable. And I feel like I do come from a place of privilege, even though I do have my own, you know, my own experiences with discrimination and all that kind of thing. I feel I have the ability to tell stories for other people that, you know, don't have that luxury. So, yeah, breathing spaces, I think it's important to always find those moments, whether you're in lockdown or not.
Basically, your you were existing as a creative, but like on steroids, because the space became available and became more open, and you didn't have to justify having all of the time or all of the, again, the breathing space or the ability to actually function as a creative. Because I suppose in a way, I mean, for me, it helped me stay sane. Do you know what I
Mm,
mean? And
mm,
I want to know, because I was loving all of your live concerts with, and supporting the community to sort of stay within the guidelines and still, listen and share with your, listen to your work. I want to know, in terms of your breathing space, whether that is physically or in an emotional or mental sense, how are you manifesting that in your whare right now? Or like, how are you manifesting that in your daily routine? What does that breathing space fulfill for you,
mm.
like on a daily basis, I suppose?
I think it depends on what kind of personality you have, but because generally I have too much energy, I'm described as like a puppy that needs to be run every day. Um, so I need to balance that with things that will ground me. Um, so for me, I did the most yoga I've ever done in my life, and that was because of you, because I saw you had been watching yoga with Adrienne, and so I did yoga every day. I would go for runs. Um, and yeah, so that kind of created little landmarks in my day, and then everything around that felt pretty flowy. Um, Enjoying the really simple things. I'm here in my kitchen doing the thing that I loved doing the most. Like I would go to sleep at night going, oh, I can't wait to wake up and make some coffee in the morning. And then, thinking about coffee right before you go to sleep has like this crazy placebo effect, and it wakes you up because you think about the smell and it makes you like awake. But I just loved making coffee. And I was buying coffee a lot before lockdown, and I've bought like a few coffees since lockdown lifted. But making coffee, slowing down, and like not being in a rush going from point A to point B. I think what I realized as well was like I would have to say it out loud, and I would say I want to focus on flow, and that what that would mean for me is here are the things that I like to do, whether it's build a table or um, go through that drawer with all the stuff that like is going to make me really emotional. I'll just write a whole bunch of stuff down that I'd like to get done. But if I focus on flow, as opposed to going, right, I need to do that next thing now, right, I need to do that next thing now, I would still get everything I wanted to get done without feeling rushed. And it's totally psychological. It's like a mental thing, and it just keeps you really present. And anything you do, or when levels got lifted and people would knock on the door and come for a cup of tea, like it didn't ever feel like I really need to go on to my next thing. It just felt like everything was happening in its own way, and I still got stuff done. And that's me on a good day. Okay, on a bad day, I'm rushing from one thing to another. But that's the goal, right? That's the goal, to be able to do and be that way.
I really, I really like the honesty around the good and the bad day, because it does exist. And sometimes it all
Yeah.
exists in a space of an hour or a day,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
it all occurs in moments. And I fully tautoko that feeling and the process that you've instilled for yourself. And I think what popped up for me just listening to you is doing the things that serves you in the moment or in the day, so that
Mm.
it elevates the stress and actually allows joy to occur in the things that you want to do in the day. Because I
Yeah.
think you're absolutely right. We live the daily life and the constant hustle and bustle, and we forget even the little moment of settling after we've achieved something, to actually just acknowledge that accomplishment, right? So having the
Yeah.
space during the breathing space, I think you've absolutely bang on highlighted that, of having a moment to complete something that makes you happy and that you've done with joy, and being filled with that and feeling like on top of the world, even if it's just for that moment or for that day or for that week, right? um but thank you so much. I really love this visuals of you in your robe. You've, you like just washed your hair with your morning coffee. I love it.
I'm in my kitchen.
This is how I picture you, like on a daily, I think.
I'm not always in the kitchen, but yeah, I'm in the kitchen a lot at the moment. Yeah, especially on a bad day, man. Like making food. I made a ton of dumplings during lockdown. I think you did as well.
That was because of you. So you and
Yeah.
I just full on enabling each other, and I really appreciate that. Well, thank you so much for letting me into your breathing space this morning or this day, and thank you for sharing where you're placed right now in this given moment, and for just having a cordial with me. Everyone, that is Nikita Tu-Bryant. I'm Marianne Infante, and this is Breathing Space.